got my ways, trying to keep up in all this chaos. I need you now.
Divine Design, Natural Health. Hello, Facebook. We are here going live at a packed out class here at 3800 Keith Street in Cleveland, Tennessee. And we are tonight talking about nuggets and goldfish and candy. Oh my. I'll say it again. You guys do the oh my. I'll do the nuggets and goldfish and candy. Ready? It's a fun game. Let's play. Nuggets and goldfish and candy. Oh my. That sounded so good. Let's do it again. No, I'm just kidding. Nuggets and goldfish and candy, oh my. Now this is a very close, this is close to my heart because I don't have any kids, but I've got, a lot of people who do have kids. I've got a lot of friends who have kids. I love kids. I would love to, throw a bunch of kids around in the backyard and make them do all my dishes and stuff like that. Hey, what are you doing with your kids? Can I have them for a weekend or something? That'd be great. Kids are very useful, right? Kids are very useful. You can make them do anything. No, I love kids. I love picking on them. I love loving on them. Kids are just great. So I don't have any of my own yet, but one day soon, one of these days. But the thing that gets me is what's going on with the kids. It really, really gets me. It turns my stomach when I see what's going on with the kids. So we're going to talk about that, but before, let's just discuss why some of you guys are here. And this fell out of your folder here. Oh, here, and I do need to discuss these things too before we move on. So we're talking about kids, but infrared sonotherapy is one thing that we have here, brand new. I don't think there's another place in Cleveland that has it. Infrared sonotherapy. Somebody told me today that since they started the program, they started sweating for the first time in years. How many of you know that's not good, that you can't sweat? Pigs don't have sweat glands. That's why we're not supposed to eat pigs. I'm not telling you can't eat pork and bacon, but pigs don't sweat. So they keep a lot of toxins in their body. Humans are supposed to sweat, on the other hand. So when she told me that, I thought, you haven't sweated in years? Makes sense, though. People live in air conditioning. People live inside. They don't work. They don't get out in the heat. They don't get out in the sun. Their detoxification channels are shut down. They're not passing things out of their body. They get toxic. They get a lot of weight, and before you know it, they're building up toxins in their body. They're very sick. Is that diagnosable by medicine or a blood test? Nope. Guess what? She's getting a lot better. So infrared sonotherapy opens up your pores. Other thing, Vitamix referral giveaway, Facebook. Tell all your friends, family, Romans, countrymen, whole 9 yards. Vitamix, that thing right there will chew up anything. That thing, here, give me your cell phone. She was going to do it. She was totally, your keys. She'll give me her keys. No, but the Vitamix, we recommend these things because they're great. People can use these things to blend up anything. You can do nut butters, you can do smoothies, you can do shakes, anything. You can do soups, I think I said already. This thing will go so fast, it'll actually heat the soup up. They've been around forever. They're lifetime warranty, I think. I've never known one to break down. But we're giving one away. All you got to do is tell people about us. If you're a current patient, even if you're not a current patient, guess what? You tell people about us, you get a little friendly, little gift. So the more that you refer, it's right here in your thing, in your folder. I won't go over all the details, but the more chances you get to win that thing. And that's who won the one last year? Miss Faye. How convenient. I think she rigged it. Everybody, we all think she rigged it. No, I'm just kidding. I think that fell out of yours, darling. If not, you can have some more. Now, the whole reason we're here and the whole reason we're talking about kids, right here, I'm just going to read you a few things. Let's see. I was telling a friend that my dog was run over and doing well. Here's a few testimonials. I just want to hit you with a few testimonials. My dog was run over and doing well, but she thought that I needed to take my dog to see the vet. I told her I'll ask my doctor today when I see him if he thought he needed to see him. She said, wait, what? You see a vet? I told her, yes, he sees people and animals. She was so confused. I butchered that right there. I explained to her that he treats us the same with supplements that God created. He's a natural healer. She was blown away. Here's the deal. Animals and humans are the same. They eat and drink the same. They should, at least, eat and drink the same stuff. Only humans are stupid enough to make their own food, to process it and to refine it. Only humans would do that. Only humans are prideful enough to think that they would outdo the plants and animals that God created. So when you tell people, hey, bring your dog in, I don't care. It worked the same way. Lasers, guess what? Human physiology works the same way as dog physiology. Think of the money I'll save you on vet bills. So that was good. That was great. And I'm not saying, I'm not calling myself a vet or anything like that, but hey, the supplements work the same way with dogs. The supplements work the same way with cats. The supplements work the same way with horses, right? Guess what? Their physiology is pretty much the same as yours. They might have a couple different enzymes. They might be able to break down grass. Anyway, after a long struggle with anxiety, all my anxiety has dissipated after only 6 weeks on the program. 6 weeks, anxiety. How many of you know she would be on a lifelong psychiatric, psychotropic medication and never look back? And then she'd be on 2 of them, 3 of them. Then she'd be on an acid-blocking drug and a cholesterol drug. After 6 weeks, off, no anxiety. I bought a house, what? And moved, what? As well as a car. During the last 3 weeks, I had no relapse of anxious thoughts or feelings. I want to be her. That's kind of cool. Here's vertigo. I had a lot of vertigo. I'll shorten this one. I'm expecting that within a bit of time. Wait. I went to Divine Design 2 days in a row for vertigo treatment. Took extra care. Dr. Brett did with both days of treatment. I'm expecting that with a little bit of time, I'll realize that the vertigo is completely gone. She went from like a 10 to a 2 before she walked out the door. That was good. This is not recommended. I started my period 1 hour after leaving the appointment. This is not normal results. This is not normal results. Costco protein powder had stevia in it, causing my health issues. Some people's bodies aren't cool with stevia. How are you going to know? Ask it, talk to it. Let's see, painful ovarian cysts. This wasn't even the reason for first coming. My main concern was pain in my neck and between my shoulder blades. Of course, they're coming to a chiropractor. They're thinking neck pain, back pain, headache, like we've all been trained, right? But she had ovarian cysts. I didn't know that. I decided that I might have to just live with the pain forever. After my initial visit, I started taking the supplements that were recommended. Still skeptical at this point, but I had high hopes. And within 3 days, I noticed my thinking was clearer, sluggishness was gone, pain in my neck and shoulder blades was minimal, didn't lay a hand on her, didn't adjust her. And most of my symptoms with ovarian cysts had disappeared. By the end of my 2nd week, I was pain-free, still energized, but a different energy than a sugar or caffeine energy. Alert and able to work and exercise without the use of ibuprofen. One of the leading causes of liver and kidney failure in the United States is what? Ibuprofen. You want to go to a dialysis center? Take your ibuprofen every day. You want to get a kidney transplant? Take your Tylenol, take your ibuprofen, take your acetaminophen, take your Aleve, take your non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Over the counter, not even prescription will get you there. 1,000 doses of Tylenol in a lifetime predisposes you to kidney cancer and kidney failure and kidney shutdown, over 50% higher chances. 1,000 doses of Tylenol. How many people are taking Tylenol for a blood thinner every day? How many years do they got? 3 years? 3 years of taking that every day, and you're over the limit. That's 1,000 right there. I started a new lifestyle that makes me feel good. So good naturally. Oh, and did I mention that I got all of these results before I had any of my chiro done? It was all nutrition. So that's what we're talking about. That's why you're here. So when I say to people, oh, this is great. I've not had Cokes or sweet tea or fast food in over 3 months. Well, I don't know. I don't want to change my diet. Don't take away my Coca-Cola. Oh, this is a girl, by the way. I did a Southern guy voice. I'll do a Southern girl voice here in a minute. I no longer have cravings for sodas or sweet tea or Taco Bell, which is saying a lot. I was once on a first-name basis. I was once on a first-name basis with the employees of Taco Bell. I feel absolutely amazing. I will never go back to my... How many of you know? It's not about putting something down. It's about picking up better stuff. You cannot get something good into your hand when you're hanging on to something old. You just can't do it. I learned that in the Bible. That's pretty interesting, right? It's an ancient concept, but you can apply it in so many ways. So think about that. We're not trying to cramp your style. We're not trying to tell you what you can and can't do. We're trying to tell you what you have the potential to do if you just put down the stuff that's killing you. So there's that. There's a few testimonials right there. This right here, I came across today, along with this. I wasn't going to share this with everybody, but Facebook, this is too good. You got to see this. How many of you got this in the mail just recently? It came as a trifold. It came from Cleveland Utilities. Raise your hand. You guys just chucked this right away, didn't you? You chucked it. Most people chuck it. Well, I don't. I'm the nerd that reads the water report from Cleveland Utilities. I want to see how much fluoride they're putting in the water. I want to see how much chlorine's going in the water, because you know what? Well, I won't go there. Come to the class on water over the summer, and I will explain to you what's in your tap water, and it's going to blow your mind. And you will filter your water from that day forward, I promise you. But I got this one recently. This is so good. I wasn't going to share it, but I'm going to share it. Look at this. Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day, because it ties right into what we're talking about. And I found it on my desk, and I thought, I'll share it. Household Hazardous Waste Collection Day. How many of you know there's a day, and they come along and they get all of these items? Oil and fuel additives, carburetor and fuel injector cleaners. Tell me which one stands out. Gasoline, adhesives, roofing tar, wallpaper remover, pesticides, fertilizers, wood preservatives, aerosols, pool chemicals, fluorescent tubes, medicines and drugs. You get that? It's right here. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's that simple. It's right here in your mailbox. Fold it up with your electric bill. Throw out all your toxic stuff. We don't want it going in a landfill. Monitors, printers, keyboards, televisions, gunpowder, ammunition, needles and sharps, infectious wastes, dead animals. What? And they're saying your medicines and drugs. I highlighted it. You can't make this up. Your medicines and drugs get filed away with dead, rotting carcasses. Right there. It's right there. I read it and I fell out. I said, this is too good. This is too good. They advertise it right there, under your nose, saying they're toxic chemicals that do not belong in your body. It's right there. We don't want it in the water supply. We certainly don't want it in the landfill. But you need to swallow that once a day for the rest of your life. Actually, there's 5 or 6 chemicals that we want you to swallow every day for the rest of your life and make you think that you'll die without them. When you start into a system of pharmaceuticals told that you will die without those poisonous toxic chemicals, you are in a manipulative relationship. You are living in a lie. They're telling you something that's not true. They're telling you that you have to have these drugs to survive. You will have a stroke without this drug. Had a patient, 3 patients within the last 2 weeks have told me, within about 4 days of each other actually, that they're pregnant. One of them comes in and says, well, my doctors, she's a nurse by the way, my doctors want me to take progesterone. But I kind of asked them, this was her talking, why do you want me to take this? It says don't take it if you're pregnant. The doctor says, oh, don't pay attention to that. You get that? She's a nurse. She's a nurse. By the way, that's the biggest chunk of who we serve here is healthcare professionals. You know that, right? Other nurses, doctors, people who are in the healthcare field, surgical technicians, nurse practitioners, people who write prescriptions for a living. I treat them. When I say this, they know exactly what I mean. Because if anybody's telling you that you have to live and have those drugs to live, they're not telling you the whole truth. They told her, actually, if you don't take these drugs, you're going to have a miscarriage. How can they predict that? What kind of crystal ball did they have? That's what we're talking about. So, to get right into it, and then the last thing, then we'll get to the kids. This is too good, too. This is just too good. This is somebody here. How many of you, was that good or was that good? That was pretty good, wasn't it? It's right there. Medicines and drugs. We'll come and collect the household hazardous waste. Okay, this right here, typical progress report. This is after January 16th. There's no name on here, okay? HIPAA, FERPA, there's no name on here. January 16th was the start date, just to give you an idea of what we do. April 3rd is the end date. So we have all of the symptoms here. That back, weight, fatigue, bladder control, indigestion, constipation, headache, hips, eyes, rash, right rib pain, toe fungus. Then we have all of the active organs here that we were testing and watching and making better and seeing improve over the course of those 3 months. And then here, the system survey score, which was that piece of paper that we have you fill out. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not in the folders anymore. We used to keep it in there. But the system survey score is just you fill out your symptoms, and it tells us which systems of the body to work on. Then there's a toxicity questionnaire. That is in there. Body fat percentage, BMI, blood pressure left and right, heart rate left and right, weight. We measure a lot of metrics. We don't just take your blood pressure and tell you you have to go on, metoprolol for the next decade. We take a lot of metrics, and we watch you improve over time. So it came time to do her what we call the progress report at the end of her 12-week care plan, correct? And I took a look at this, and I went down and I just kind of made it up as I went along, and I said, okay, well, your back went from a 5 to a 3. Your weight went from a 5 to a 1. 3 months. How much does it bug you? In other words, those numbers, those 1 to 10s, is 1 would be like a hangnail, 10 would be like having a baby. How much does it really bug you, having this problem? Like, for instance, the fatigue, how much does it bug you? She said a 7 at first. The day that she walked in here, January 16th, she said a 7. At the end of her initial care plan, because we went beyond this, is her fatigue was a 1. How many of you know when your fatigue goes from a 7 to a 1, you might think about getting a second job and getting more productive and making more money? That's kind of cool. How many of you know if you don't have headaches every day, going and picking up your kids from school gets a lot more fun? How many of you know if you can button your shirt on your own and you don't have to have a friend at work do it when you get there? Bladder control, 6 or 7 when she started out, right? It's a 1 now. So basically I went through here and I said, wow, it's interesting, the gamut of symptoms that you have, because hardly any of them would traditionally be treated by a chiropractor, particularly a nutrition-based chiropractor. So I said, because people always wonder, they get the idea that this is going to be so expensive, Now, what's expensive is your insurance premiums. What's expensive is your CAT scans and your MRIs. So I went through here. This is good too, I think. If it's not good, will you let me know? Okay. Okay, good. So the back, I said, well, for the back, you'd be seeing an orthopedic surgeon. For the weight loss, you'd be seeing probably a nutritionist or a gastroenterologist, right? For the fatigue, you'd go to your family practice or your general internist. You tracking where I'm going here? For your bladder control, that's a urologist. Okay? For your indigestion, that's a gastro doctor, gastroenterologist. So these are all specialists, with the exception of the FP or the internist, right? Then the indigestion, or the constipation, well, that's a GE appointment, or maybe proctology, maybe a colonoscopy or an endoscopy. Okay? So that's an in or outpatient deal. Headache, that's a neurology appointment, in most cases. Hips, that's an ortho appointment. Eyes, optometry. How many of you know we handle eyes? We're not optometrists. Just guess what? Your eyes get better as a side effect of everything else we do. You want anti-aging? Come to my classes in the summer. You want anti-aging? You want to know how to fix the wrinkles? That's what blew up the anti-aging thing. Yeah. The wrinkles and the anti-aging thing and the varicose veins and come to the anti-aging thing. I will blow your minds with what's going on in the research, in the literature, what's going on in anti-aging. And you know what? We're already doing all of it right here. We're already doing it. Eyes, that's an optometry appointment. She comes to me and says, my doctor canceled my cataract surgery. Or it might have been glaucoma or something. Oh, no. The doctors had said within about 3 years you're going to need surgery for your cataracts. How do they know that? I mean, I get that they can predict things, and they can look at it and see the progression of things. But really, they don't know. What about understanding nutrition and how it can reverse everything if you get to it ahead of time? So she was enamored that she canceled her surgery, but she was still upset that she had to buy new glasses. Her prescription got better. And she blamed me. Oh, I just hit the microphone. Sorry, brother. That's loud. But she was mad at me for her prescription getting lesser, for her eyes getting better, because now she had to pay for new glasses. Like, come on, throw me a bone here. We just canceled your surgery and you're back about your frames? Right ribs, that's an ortho or family practice appointment. Toe fungus, that's a podiatrist. I said, hey, we just saved you 10 to 11 appointments with specialists. Get over it. Lovingly, But I said, hey, throw me a bone here. Come on. So that's what we're doing here, folks. All right, now, get right into the meat and potatoes. Guess what? Kids. Guess what, kids? Oh, let me check one thing here. Oh, we're doing fine. This came out, actually a patient brought this in March 13th. This is the Times Free Press. How many of you know that paper? Does that sound familiar to anybody? Times Free Press. Why the South is the least healthy region in the U.S. We live in the South. She brought this in. She said, it's everything you're teaching. I said, oh, I love you. Somebody's listening. She's not here right now. But if you're out there, darling, this is you right here. You know who you are. So just real quick, I want to read a couple things because this pertains right to what we're doing tonight. Because I will read you this quote. This is the former Surgeon General, Richard Carmona. Because, and this is what this whole class is based on. Nuggets, goldfish, and candy, oh my. It's kind of the stepbrother of another class I teach called Why Your Kids Are Sick. But this is a different, this is stuff in a different layout. But I use this same quote. You've all heard it. It's not new. Because of the increasing rates of obesity, unhealthy eating habits, physical inactivity, we may see the first generation that will be less healthy and have a shorter life expectancy than their parents. That is the former Surgeon General of the United States. It gets better. It gets better. Joyce Lee is a famous, she's a medical doctor, and she has a master's in public health. These are some stats from some of her writings. I have all the stats on this. I have all the resources if you ever need any of this. 1 in 7 children has a mental, behavioral, or developmental disorder. 1 in 7 has a mental, behavioral, or developmental disorder. 1 in 7. This was years ago, by the way. But I used this stat just to set the case for this. For the first time in the history of the world, very similar quote from the Surgeon General, the number of people underweight and overweight is equal. Can you believe that? But if we go back here and we say, the second quote here, childhood obesity is now the #1 health concern among parents in the United States, topping drug abuse and smoking. I will read that again. Childhood obesity is now the #1 health concern among parents in the U.S., way over drug abuse and smoking. Now you don't have to worry about your kids shooting up in the bathroom. You got to worry about them eating cookies. How crazy is this? The percentage, this is from the CDC. See, they tell you straight up. Where'd they get this information? They've got the stats. But it's another, we'll get there later, maybe. We'll get there later in one of the classes over the summer, the anti-aging thing. The percentage of children with obesity in the U.S. has more than tripled since the 70s. Today, about 1 in 5 school-aged children, so school-age, that would be ages 6 to 19, 1 in 5, so 20%, has obesity. Notice they say has obesity. It's like it's a disease. Didn't say they're obese, it said they have obesity. In the long term, this is still the CDC, childhood obesity also is associated with having obesity, not being obese, having it, having the condition of obese. In the long term, I'll say that again, childhood obesity also is associated with having obesity as an adult, which is linked to serious conditions such as heart disease, type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, several types of cancer. Right there, you just named 4 out of the 5 top reasons that people go to doctors in the United States. Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, stroke, metabolic syndrome, pretty close to diabetes. Let's just call it diabetes. And then hypertension. Top 5 reasons people go to medical doctors in the United States, those 5. Stroke, diabetes, hypertension, cancer, heart disease. Everybody got that? All of those being preventable, nutritionally related diseases. Every one of them. Hypertension. I got high blood pressure. Why is your blood pressure high? I don't know. Are you on metoprolol? Yes. Are you on metformin? Yes. Are you on atorvastatin? Yes. Has anybody ever told you that the big thing that pumps your blood pressure through the roof is I'll tell you 3 things right now that pump your blood pressure through the roof more than faster, bigger, better than anything. You ready? Yeah, I'm all ears. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All 3 of them. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you're eating something that your body hates, do you think it's going to raise your blood pressure or lower your blood pressure? It's going to raise it. So if you eat that for breakfast, you're going to have high blood pressure for a few hours, aren't you? While your body digests that, right? Because it's going to slip into your bloodstream. Then you go ahead and eat lunch. Well, you eat the same thing, probably. Refined, processed, packaged, unreal food-like substances that don't resemble even real food, right? They're not food. We don't call them food. You go to Chick-fil-A and you get this or that. You get a big old shake of sugar, and you go to Starbucks and you get a big old giant triple fat goose mocha latte macchiato thing. You know what I mean? Whatever they are. And then sugar, 655 grams of sugar in that, so your body's all inflamed. Anything that causes your body to inflame, you don't have to have an allergic reaction. Anything that causes your body to inflame, what's it going to do to your blood pressure? Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? Up. Every single time. So then you go do dinner, and guess what? You got blood pressure high all day long. Nobody ever told you that. No, nobody ever told me that. We just decimated blood pressure medications, didn't we? Right there. About 40 seconds. Get rid of your, I'm not telling you to ditch them, but I'm saying I can tell you how to get rid of them. Your moms, your dads, your grandparents, and you know what else? Your kids. Because right here, who are they gunning for blood pressure meds? Your kids. They're already going for the cholesterol drugs because they're saying cholesterol makes you fat. The science says otherwise. All of the science that you've ever heard about cholesterol and artery disease and fat makes you fat. How many of you know that eating fat makes you fat? I just tried to trick a whole room full of people and they didn't bite it. Eating fat makes you fat. We were told that for how many years? We were told that since the 60s. Eating fat makes you fat, right? But then you go on a whole generation of people on a low-fat, no-fat, high-carbohydrate diet, and 50 years later, everybody's got cancer, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and hypertension. Crazy. Your body's made of fat, but don't eat it. Duh, big problem. So you're seeing here why the South is the least healthy. A lot of this has to do with kids. A lot of it, school-age kids, 6 to 19 years old. But let me just read you some of the highlights. I'm not going to read you the whole thing because I've got some other highlights I want to hit you with here in a minute. Someone living in Kentucky. My family's from Kentucky, by the way. I grew up in Michigan. My mother and father. Love you, by the way, if you're out there. And all my relatives, aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody that I love dearly still lives in Kentucky. So when I make a Kentucky or Southern accent joke, I'm not picking. I got it in my blood, so I can do it. I can get away with it. But this hurts me right here because I always wondered, why are my relatives so sick? Everybody in Kentucky, not just my relatives, but everybody in Kentucky is so sick. Everybody. It's unbelievable. An annual report by the nonprofit United Health Foundation says that someone living in Kentucky is 55% more likely to die from cancer than a person living in Utah. I know why. They don't say it, but I know why. I finally figured that out. A resident of Mississippi is 85% more likely to die of cardiovascular disease than someone living in Minnesota. If you live in West Virginia, notice the southern states, you are more than twice as likely to have diabetes as someone living in Colorado. Overall, premature death occurs almost twice as often in many of the southern states compared to Minnesota and California. So I'll just blow through a few little things here. Lower life expectancy. They're trying to say it's poor lifestyle, it's education. There's an argument that they're saying it's education, but really the southern states have better education than some of the northern ones. They didn't like that. Poor lifestyle behaviors. For example, like West Virginia and Kentucky have very high rates of drug overdose deaths related to the opioid epidemic. I knew that. However, rates in many southern states, including Mississippi, Georgia, and Arkansas, are lower than the rest of the country. Let me skip over some of this. Kentucky, Alabama, West Virginia, Arkansas, and Mississippi having the lowest household median incomes in the country. However, this doesn't tell the whole story. Idaho is 40th in household income and 14th in health. So what they're saying is there's really no correlation between how rich of a state you live in and how healthy you are. Okay? They spent a lot of time saying that when we could have told you that. Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Missouri are all in the top 10 for high school graduation rates, so it's not about education. See? I didn't know that. That was cool. Lack of routine health care can lead to an increase of preventable hospitalizations. Now they're getting into how do you fix it? How do you fix it? This is This is classic. Love this. Watch this. Watch this closely. Watch this. I'm going to do a magic trick. Watch this. For instance, a diabetic who's routinely seen by a physician can avoid more serious complications that lead to hospitalizations. If you're seen more frequently by your doctor, you can avoid more hospitalizations. What? It'll get better. Hold on. Funding for public health differs across the region, with West Virginia providing more per capita than any other state. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know why I highlighted that. Infant mortality and low birth weight babies are prevalent across the region. We talked a couple weeks ago. America has the highest infant mortality rate. We talked about women. 2 weeks ago, we did the women, birthing, beauty, and biopsies. We talked about from birth, what happens in the birthing procedure, how home birth is different than hospital birth. We talked about beauty, the beauty products, and we talked about how you work your way into biopsies. Beauty, birthing, and biopsies, in that order. We talked about women 2 weeks ago. And we talked about the infant mortality rate in the United States is the worst in all civilized countries. Did you know that? Horrible. Right here it says it. Infant mortality rates and low birth rates are prevalent across the region. So, in the end, the data is clear. Americans living in the southern United States live shorter, sicker lives. The region needs a comprehensive strategy to improve health. Here we go. You ready for the comprehensive strategy? At Texas A&M, the writer is from Texas A&M. We've banded together with 13 universities in the SEC to discuss ideas that can reach communities outside the universities. One of our initial ideas is to leverage the mass gatherings around football games to promote positive health activities. Let me get this straight. While everybody's getting loaded and eating cotton candy, we're going to talk about getting them healthy. Those are the ideas that come from opinions and newspapers about what's going on with the nation. How many of you know CNN has the same crap? They're just talking about what are we going to do to increase, insurance for Americans? What are we going to do to take care of this debt? What are we going to do to handle all this stuff? The answer is not giving people better, lower-priced insurance. The answer is teaching them how not to need it. And guess what? When you put your health in charge in the hands of a third-party company. Is Blue Cross Blue Shield for profit or not profit? Huh? It's for profit. Blue Cross Blue Shield is a for-profit corporation. Get that right. Everybody gets that? So when you put your health in the hands of a for-profit corporation, do you think that it is going to be in their best interest, your health, or the health of the bottom line for the stakeholders? The shareholders or the policyholders? Who do you think they're going to care about? The shareholders. The policyholders? No. We make money when we charge you more money. And the doctors, everybody knows we don't give a rip about the doctors. We make more money when we don't pay them. This right here is crap. Yeah, I said it right here. One of our initial ideas is to leverage the mass gatherings around football games to promote positive health activities. The largely rural makeup of these states, along with attendance at football games exceeding 78,000 people. You get 80,000 people screaming at a football game. And they're saying we're going to change the healthcare of the country. Per game provides a unique southern strategy to change health in these states. A unique southern strategy. Brother, I hope you got a better idea than that. To change the health. We're going to rally around at football games and tell people how to eat healthy. Good luck with that, I'm telling you. But here's Tennessee, America's Health Rankings. This was on the back page. They didn't want you to see this. Tennessee's, the overall ranking is 45. How many states are there? 45 out of 50. Tennessee. Strengths, low prevalence of excessive drinking. Strengths of low prevalence. I don't know about that. Certainly not as bad as some places I've lived. Small disparity in health status by educational attainment. Low incidence of pertussis. So one of the strengths of living in Tennessee is you got a low incidence of whooping cough. Get all the realtors to tell everybody. Everybody moved to Tennessee and nobody has pertussis. The challenges. I gotta call my realtor friends and say, you guys gotta get on the board, get on the train with this. Challenges of living in Tennessee: high prevalence of smoking, high violent crime rate, and high premature death rate. Now, why would that be? High violent crime rate. Could the high violent crime rate and the high premature death rate be tied to the fact that there's a lot of drinking? but we just said we're going to go to football games and we're going to fix the thing. Could it be high violent crime rate? Could that be tied to what people are eating? Could that be tied to them sucking down Diet Cokes and refined processed food that their body's trying to rebuild with, but can't? You know they outlawed trans fats, right? You heard that, right? How long was that in the food supply? Trans fats. Did anybody know about this? Trans fats, the bad thing that they're supposed to be illegal now, right? Did anybody know this, or was it a farce? I might have gotten duped. I don't know. But the trans fat thing went away, right? Like they can no longer use trans fats, to my knowledge. Now, why are we talking about this? Because I've got 3 things here. Why your kids are so sick, why it's the nuggets and candy and goldfish. Why am I talking about that? Why am I talking about the nutrition? Because guess what? The biggest problem with your kids is what? What they're being fed. I hate to tell you, but when people come to me and say, well, I just won't, little Johnny's not going to eat broccoli and Brussels sprouts. I don't want little Johnny to eat broccoli and Brussels sprouts. I'm going to start with you because I'm not going to see Johnny or Susie until you're on board. We have a little policy here called it's your responsibility, not mine, to feed your kid. So if I'm trying to give you supplements and adjust him and laser him and detox him and we do all the stuff that we do to try to fix your kid while he's eating nuggets and goldfish and candy, it's a fun game. If I'm trying to fix your kid but you're poisoning him at home, guess what? We're going to have 0 success. So I require it. When somebody says, I want you to see my kid, I say, no problem. I'd love to see your kid. I'd love to see all 12 of them. I want to see them healthy and happy and whole. I want to see them not getting sick. But we got to do one thing first. What's that? I want to see you first. Get you here first. Now, most parents are going to go, okay, yeah, I get what you're doing. I see. But if they go, well, I'm healthy. Well, but your kid's not. So let's start with you so that he sees what you do now. Let's start with you. What other doctor is going to do that? I don't know of any. I don't know. I thought it was a good idea. It works well. It works really well. It works flawlessly well. Why? Because that kid is not going to go buy his own groceries at the ripe old age of 5 years old. He's not going to go to the grocery store. He's not going to go cook it. He's not going to fix it, prepare it, put it in a pressure cooker, and eat it. He's responsible, and she is responsible upon you. So, if we discuss the food and the chemicals, there's 3 things I want to talk about as far as your kids go. Nuggets and goldfish and candy, oh my. The very first thing is the chemicals. The very first thing is the food. Food and chemicals. All the GMO food. Okay, let's just talk about this for a minute. I had somebody, the very near and dear, somebody who started with us, got phenomenally great results in a very short amount of time. Faster results than I thought she was going to get, to be honest. She'd been very sick. But the thing is, like I told you before, she's a healthcare professional. She was a retired nurse. So she knew how it worked. She came in. She said, I've listened to your classes. I've listened to so-and-so and so-and-so, all my friends who go to you, and I've seen the results and stuff like that. But she's like, you know what? You're never going to convince me on the vaccine thing. I said, okay. No problem. Do you want to get started? Yeah, let's get started. Okay. Come on in. I'm not going to argue with her. She's been to the class. She's watched the stuff on Facebook, YouTube, whatever. I'm not going to argue with her. She's going to learn it on her own. So, around about 10 weeks later, when we were getting ready to do one of these for her, she says, well, you know what? I've been watching the videos on the GMOs, and I've been reading stuff online and listening to my friends who are in the nursing homes and stuff like that. You're right. You're right about the GMOs. She said, but you know what? You're never going to sell me on the vaccines. I was a nurse. I saw kids with whooping cough. That's what she said. Bless her heart. She said, I've had to tend to those kids that were dying with pertussis. I said, I understand. It's horrible. People die. I get it. She said, you're never going to get me with the vaccines. That's okay. But let me ask you a question. Did they lie to you about the fluoride in the water? She said, oh yeah, that was a farce. We all fell for that one. Yeah? Okay. Let me ask you another question. Did they lie to you about the drugs, that they're all safe and effective? She said, oh yeah, I was a nurse. We were killing people. Well, You've been watching the videos like you said. Did they lie to you about the GMOs? She's like, oh yeah, we're just figuring this one out too. Look at all the stuff we released in the environment. They totally lied to us. Okay. Did they lie to you about the vaccines? And she just looks up at me because she knew what I was saying. They're the same companies. You think they're going to tell you the truth about Vioxx, but not lie to you about the flu vaccine? They're the same company. And they're banking on you being stupid. I didn't call her stupid. They're banking on you. They call you, they think you're that stupid. That's what they think. I'm going to call you up a little bit. I'm going to stand here in front of a room of people and not give two rips. Most of you in this room, I don't know. There's a few people here who are patients that I've seen for a long time. But you know what? When it comes to the kids thing, I don't even have them, and I get PO'd. Because when you see, and I see heads nodding out there, man, you know what's happening to your kids. You know what's going on. You know what's happening to your students. You know what's happening to your players. I see coaches here. I see people who are teachers here in this room. I see people who are nurses. I see people who cut people's hair and take care of people, kids in wheelchairs that have been screwed by the system. Okay? I got them in this practice. I got people, nurses, coming in this practice saying, I gave my kids a vaccine and I'll never do it again. And I say, sit down and tell me everything you know. I want to hear this story. Because I've heard it dozens of times. Not just from the hundreds of hours of documentaries and doctors that I travel around with and listen and speak to and talk to and documentaries, thousands of hours of studying that topic. So nobody's going to beat me on this. Nobody's going to opinionate themselves around that. But when I see what's going on with the kids, when I see what's going on with not just the chemicals and the GMOs and the vaccines and the drugs, it should infuriate you. I don't even have kids, people. So when people say, oh, what's the topic tonight? Nuggets and goldfish and candy, oh my. Oh, what's that about? It's about how we're going to make sure that the next generation of the United States is prim and proper and healthy and whole. That's it. You notice I never said a word about kids? Because I got sick of people telling me, oh, I'm not going to go. I don't have kids. It's not their responsibility. Oh, so you don't know anyone with kids? You don't have nieces, nephews? You don't live near a school? You don't pay money for the school to come out and... Oh, so the kids don't affect you. Oh, okay, so it's not your problem. Oh, you don't have them. Well, guess what? I don't have them, and I'm teaching the class. So get your butt there. I'm just kidding. But see, I got sick of telling people about that it's about kids and hearing, oh, it doesn't matter. Ah, I'm done with my child rearing days. Those days are over. Oh, so you don't have grandkids. Oh, you see them stop for... You hold them accountable. You say, come on, man. You've seen what's going on when you go to the mall. You've seen what's going on when you go to the flea markets. Right? Are the kids better today or worse today? Say it aloud. Are the kids more allergies or less allergies? The kids getting shot up with more vaccines or less vaccines? Are they on less drugs or more drugs? Do they have more eczema and skin conditions or less more or less? Right. Diabetes, more or less. Crib death, more or less. Autism, more or less. Where did autism come from, folks? They're telling you it's genetic. What? Did the kids' parents have autism? Because I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have reproduced. Think about how stupid they think you are. Think about this. So I'm going to call you up in front of a group of people, and I'm going to say, look, it's time to buck up and put on your big girl britches and get down to business with this. Because they're coming for your kids. They're coming for they know. And you know it too. So put on your big girl britches and let's get to work. Right here. Food and chemicals. GMO food. What are they doing? They're putting bacterial and viral and fungal and plant and animal and human, now, DNA into the plants, growing it pesticide-free, or not pesticide-free, pest-free, because now the pests can't eat it because they spray it with Roundup, right? So now you've got, this is the simplicity of it, you guys. Now you've got foreign proteins. That plant now has bacterial, viral, fungal, parasitic, human, and plant and animal, and monkey kidney cell cancer virus into the DNA of the actual plants. Then you come along after they spray it down and they make it impervious to chemical poisons. Okay. Then they come along and they grab it up. And I grew up on a farm, so I know how this all works. So combines, the whole 9 yards. Then they ship it to the place. Most of it, the corn that's grown in the United States, is not for humans. It's for cattle, right? So then that goes into the food supply, and then all those proteins that are in that food, guess what? Whose body gets to digest that? The only thing is, these are foreign chemicals and proteins that your body has no idea what to do with. You don't have enzymes to break down Roundup. You don't have a Monsanto ACE enzyme in your body. So when you get all these foreign proteins, are there chemical toxins that then you have to, oh, right here, this is beautiful. It says right here, one of the leading causes of poor health outcomes, public health researcher, I look at the physical and social conditions in which people live, including education levels, location to air pollution, access to health care, air, water quality, housing, culture, and many other factors. Air pollution. What would air pollution be called? Toxins, right? But if you start talking about toxins, people go, oh, that's a bunch of hippie crap. Toxins, nothing's toxic. But if you're living in downtown New York City and you're living here in Cleveland, the air is very different, right? So even if you just take that, one little thing right there, air pollution, they're labeling that as a reason why people are sick. Take that one step further and go, okay, well, the air, the food, what about the water? What's in the water? Are your kids drinking tap water? Have you not availed yourself of the Cleveland utilities? The report that comes in your bill, I teach a class on this, all about what's in your tap water, it tells you right under your nose, just like this one does. Just like this one says, Household Hazardous Waste Day, we'll come and get your medicines and drugs that you paid for, that you paid premiums, deductibles, copays, coinsurance, and prescription costs to get. But then you decide, well, I don't want to take this poisonous chemical. So you throw it in your trash. And then it seeps into the water supply. So then they say, well, let's not let it go into the trash in the water supply. Medicines and drugs, yeah, let's come around and pick those up. Right? Same thing. Cleveland Utilities, what's in the water? Read the thing. It has a 2018, got it a little while ago, the Cleveland Utilities water table results for 2018. Food, air, water, boom. Not to mention the chemicals. I was at a restaurant a while back and I saw a woman feeding her kid, and the kids were a little bigger, I'll just say. But the woman was feeding her kid. It was a genius invention. I thought, who invented this? And moms, if this is old news, don't make fun of me, because it's the first time I'd seen it. But it was a package of stuff, and it was like a paste. And it was a little baby sitting in a high chair. And it looked like toothpaste, but a wider package. And it had a plastic spoon at the very end of it that screws on. You're nodding. You're going, yeah, he's way outdated. Has everybody seen this but me? I told you I don't have kids. But I was amazed. I thought, man, who thought of that? And as she's rolling the stuff out, what's it called, Jen? Any idea? Oh, there's all different. It's not just this. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, well, in that case, perfect. But then, so she was rolling it out. Everybody knows this but me. I feel a little stupid. But hey, I'll be real with you. And it was on the plastic spoon, and she was putting it in the kid's mouth, and I just thought, I so wanted to say, ma'am, I'm sorry. Could I look at the ingredients of that package? Just for a second. The kids are all looking up. Yeah, I just wanted to take a picture. I'll be right with you. I wanted to so bad. I thought, what is that gypsy magic, and why have I never seen that? What a genius idea. Put a pack of food paste into a tube and screw a spoon and just stuff it in your kid's face. Not ever have to mess with any of this breastfeeding nonsense in public. I thought, this is genius. Who thought of this? I'm way outdated. I know. I'm simple. I'm very simple. I'm sure they do. The minute I saw Jen back there nodding, I thought, oh, here goes. Okay, so changes in nutrition affect the structure and the function of your kids much faster than it affects you. For a couple reasons. Never thought about this one, have you? Well, A, they're a lot smaller. So, let's just say 6 jabs of the flu virus, the flu shot, Hep B, and all this other crap pumped into them. It's going to affect a 9-pound infant A little different than a 250-pound linebacker. But guess what? They get the same dosage. We'll get to the vaccine thing here in a minute, I promise. But I want you to get this. Not only are they smaller and they have, you inject stuff into them or they eat stuff, and it's a higher concentration of toxins in their little tiny body that only has a couple quarts of blood in it versus 9 or 10 for adults. Think about that. Next time they chug a glass of tap water. Okay? But then the second thing is they're growing at a rate faster or slower than you. Right. So their cells are turning over a lot quicker. So when they're eating their Doritos and their Skittles and their Snickers and the Bugles and the cotton candy from the county fair, they're assimilating all of that material into their tissues much more quickly than you. Right? So young kids growing faster rate, assimilating stuff quicker, metabolizing it faster because they're more active and they don't nap on Sunday after church. Right? They're out playing, maybe doing a video game these days, but they're using their brain, so it's assimilating all that stuff. Plus, they're growing quicker at a faster rate, less blood supply, higher dosage, higher increased percentage of toxins. So should we guard kids a little harder or give them a little more leeway to eat what they want because you only live once? See the mentality. The mentality, if you don't feed your kids poison, your friends will think that you're mistreating them. We live in a society that is so sick that being healthy is abnormal. We live in a society where an 83-year-old goes to a doctor and the nurse says, "What drugs are you on, sweetheart?" "I'm not on any drugs." "No, what drugs are you on?" The doctor comes in. The nurse goes over to the doctor. This has happened, by the way. I wish I was making this up. I can't make stuff up. This is screenplay material, Hollywood, folks. Listen. The doctor comes in and the nurse says, Doctor, she has dementia so bad she doesn't remember what drug she's on." That's real. We laugh. Dementia. Number one cause of dementia, anticholinergic drugs. I could name about 50 of them right now. Half of the people in this room are probably on them. Claritin, Zyrtec, some of the drugs I just named earlier. Anticholinergic drugs. You want to know how to get Alzheimer's? I'll tell you. You want to know how to avoid it? I'll tell you. But you got to come to my class in the summer. Number one other thing about, Alzheimer's. This is about kids. We won't get into Alzheimer's. But Alzheimer's is just elderly autism. If you really think about it, right? Don't know their name, bang their head on the wall, go out, get lost, walk around the house, get lost, right? Think about it. It's really neurodegeneration. The same thing is happening. They're just getting injected with the stuff when they're 80 instead of when they're 8. Anyway. I won't get into this. The food and the chemicals, you have to think about this stuff too. The cancer-causing agents and the FDC, FD number 5, red, yellow, 30, and all the crap that the blues and the Skittles and all of these colors do not happen in nature. They're unnatural, artificial colors, right? So if you said, "Hey, we're gonna make." No, we won't go there. If you said artificial sweeteners, everybody knows artificial sweeteners are bad, at least for the most part, right? Aspartame, NutraSweet, Splenda, sucralose, all that crap, all the stuff that was designed to kill human beings, right? A lot of people know that. Or if they don't, when they get here, that's one of the first things. I have it in my contract. I actually have. If you continue to poison yourself with toxic, chemical, artificial sweeteners, I cannot continue to be your doctor. It's in there. I can't see that. Oh, yeah. We're going to do that here in a minute. Thank you. You can just have a seat right here. I want to show you. So if you can stay right here. Oh, okay. So if you continue to poison yourself, over a course of time, I'm not going to just kick somebody out and say, "Hey, you can't drop the Diet Coke. We're done." No, we're going to help you through it. So all the poisons and all the chemicals, the kids have got to understand they don't have a behavioral problem necessarily. They've got a toxin threshold problem. Their brains, their little tiny brains, are being overloaded with excitatory neurotoxins. That's a big word. Excitatory means it's pushing the neurons to the point of death. It's pushing the neurons. It's exciting them. Excitatory neurotoxins. Published literature linking excitatory neurotoxins in 1994. We knew this. Excitatory neurotoxins like aspartame, sucralose, all this crap, leading to neurobehavioral and developmental learning disability and problems in younger population. Published research. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. So higher incidence of allergic reactions, when their little body that's processing and growing is ingesting poisons and incorporating it into the tissues and into the blood supply, do you think they're going to have more allergies or less allergies? Then you're going to run the little rugrat down to the allergy clinic and get them shot with a chemical that makes it seem like the allergies are going away for a little bit. And what happens? Does it get worse or does it get better? It gets worse because they keep eating the same thing that caused the inflammation and the problem and the allergic reaction and the anaphylactic shock in the first place. How do I know? Because I lived it. My mom, love you, mean it, retired from Kellogg's. That's the Battle Creek, Michigan version of McKee Foods, or McKay Foods. McKee Foods? Little Debbie, Tony the Tiger, you know. So I grew up eating qualified 100% garbage, absolute 100% crap. Every bit of it. I drank cow's milk like it was going out of style. I ate Tony the Tiger, Frosted Flakes, Rice Krispies, Snap, Crackle, Pop like it was my job, and then I'd wash it down with Pop-Tarts. And I had allergies up the wazoo, sneezing my face off every time I went outside. Grew up on a farm. Here I am going out, wanting to help, outside, and here's hay, and here's pigs and chickens and stuff, and here's horses, and I'm just sneezing my face off, scratching my eyeballs out. Couldn't live, couldn't breathe. Horrible. Moved away to college. Guess what? All my allergies went away. Because what changed? My diet. I didn't know it then. I didn't even think about it back then. My whole entire diet changed. Didn't even think about it back then. But I'll tell you this. I grew up getting stung by bees. Anaphylactic shock, never. Went away to college. All of a sudden, my body took a bee sting to the back of the knee. Whoa! I wake up and I'm going, man, it's hot outside. As I'm sweating bullets, my fingers are going numb, and I got stuff itching on me I didn't know I had behind my eyeballs and stuff. All of a sudden, I had anaphylactic shock. Why? My body was so toxic. Now, I get stung by a bee. Guess what? I don't have an anaphylactic reaction anymore. So even allergy is something that can go away. We get people all day long, that come in here and say, I had allergies so bad last year, the pollen would wave at me and I would sneeze through the window. Well, no, I made that up just now. But the pollen's not the problem. The allergy clinics are telling you the pollen's a problem. The newscasters are telling you the pollen's a problem, but what's the problem? The problem is inside you already. The problem is an allergy is just an abnormal reaction to a normal substance. Does that make sense? It's an abnormal, write that down, reaction to a normal substance. You should not be allergic to trees, dogs, cats, air, food, and water. You shouldn't. It is impossible for the human body to be allergic to those things. Why? Because God made you. So if there's a problem with that, it's in the fact that you're already toxic to some kind of toxic chemical compound that's making you then react to something that's a benign particle that should not cause a problem. Make sense or make sense? Absolutely. That's all the food and chemical stuff, but if you basically, I'm going to give you a little nugget. If your kids have allergies, if you cut the dairy, you'll see a difference. I don't care if they're 12 or 22. Cut the dairy and you will see a difference.
I can testify to that.
Oh yeah? I didn't know this.
Absolutely testify to that.
Testify, honey. Go ahead. Speak up.
Corey, my 13-year-old son,
Yes.
had severe allergy problems his whole entire life.
Yes.
His whole life.
Mhm.
Been on prescription medications for it, and in the spring it's really bad. I haven't had any dairy in my house for over 3 months.
Right
The
on.
kids had no dairy. We have not had one problem
Wow.
at all with his sinuses, with allergies, or anything like that.
Yeah.
This spring has been just seamless. No prescription medicine.
Speak up.
No prescriptions for his allergies.
Right on.
Has not had to go to the doctor not one time for
Wow.
his allergies.
So how much money will that save you in the meantime? How much money will that save you from allergy shots? getting him out of school. How much heartache will that save him from having to missing work, school, productivity? Honey, we're not just selling supplements and adjustments and detox units and stuff like that. We are giving you productivity back to your life so that you can raise the actual tone level of your entire life and family and future. Getting you off of that whole system that is bent on you misunderstanding this one thing, that a living, breathing body cannot function properly with a dead chemical poison poisoning its blood supply. And that's what drugs do. That's it. They're dead, inert chemical substances. How many of you have ever had a chemistry class? Drugs are dead, inert chemical poisons. Is that right or is that right? So we're going to get life out of you by putting a dead chemical poison in you. The equation, that's 2 + 2 equals That makes no sense. Think of it, it's that simple. We're not here to talk opinions and I think this or I think that. Just think about it. The simplicity of it is profound. It's hidden right under your nose. Just like medicines and drugs on the household hazards list. It's right there in plain sight. Number 2, food and corn, soy, sugar, milk, grain, all that stuff. Kids are more highly affected by toxins in the diet. This I won't even spend a whole lot of time on, but the drug thing. Antibiotics, allergies, autism, ADD, ADHD, all this stuff. The kids, they're on class 2 narcotics that are stronger than cocaine, folks. That's what your Adderall is. You look it up, check it out. The epidemic of our age is Adderall. Now, it's a weight loss drug. Off-label. The epidemic of our age. There's a new documentary on Netflix. I forget the name of it, but it's all about Adderall. It's all about take your pills. Yes, take your pills. I have not watched it yet. I just watched the preview, and it was too much. I said I can't watch that. It'll just infuriate me because I have personal experience with people with that, and it just, I can't do it. I cannot. It's called Take Your Pills. Yeah, write that down. It's called Take Your Pills. All about one drug in this generation that 50% of kids under 12 years old are on. How do they pull that off? Well, there's a way. I could get into that. We'll talk about the history of pharmaceuticals and all that. I teach classes on all this stuff. You want to know about the vaccine thing? I teach a class on it. You want to know about cancer? I teach classes on that. You want to know about women and kids and men and old people and young people? I teach classes on all of them. That's what your schedule is all about. So, long-term effects of all these mind-altering drugs. Adderall, it's been out, what, since 20 years, whatever, 30 years, maybe, tops, perhaps. Long-term effects, long-term psychiatric effects of it, still unknown. It's an experiment, total experiment. Behavioral problems in children are frequently related to improper diet, emotional upset, or toxins. You know, I pulled that right from the CDC website. Why aren't they telling you that? I'll read it again. Behavioral problems in children are frequently related to improper diet, emotional upset, or toxins. It's like going to your MD and having him say, well, just, a balanced diet and regular exercise. How many of you have heard that? This drug is supposed to work with, in addition to a balanced diet and regular exercise. As you're traipsing through the tulips and smiling at all the death and disease and decay around you, remember, ask your doctor if the purple pill is right for you. Supposed to be with a balanced diet and regular exercise. But how many doctors are going to tell you, are you balancing your diet? Yes. How much bread are you eating a day? 2 loaves. Perfect. How much milk are you eating? 4 gallons a day. Yes. How much cheese? 5 blocks. Perfect. How many artificial sweeteners? 12 cases. Yes. Balanced diet. How much exercise are you getting? I'm going to my mailbox twice a day. Perfect. I mean, really, you have to define these words. So a balanced diet, improper diet, emotional upset, or toxins. Define that. CDC, define that. The way I see it, y'all are losing. The way I see it, you're screwed. The way I see it, we're in a bad place, folks. And you know what? You look at the cafeterias in your schools, and you look at the prison population, and you look at the nursing homes. Who's eating better out of all 3 of them? Go to a prison ministry. Go around to the nursing homes for Christmas, and go sing Christmas carols to the nursing homes, and look at what they're eating. I've done it. I've done it. What are they eating? Your grandparents are eating crappier food than the pedophiles, and the rapists, and the murderers. Sickens me. DSM, psychiatry, we won't even get into that. Now, big thing here. Vaccines. U.S. Vaccine Injury Compensation Fund signed into law in 1986 by Ronald Reagan. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you feel. I don't care your opinion. The U.S. Vaccine Compensation Injury Fund was signed in 1986, people. I'll read the name again. The U.S. Vaccine Injury Compensation Fund. Ronald Reagan signed it 35 years ago. 1986? Think about it. You cannot sue the drug makers of vaccines. Point number 2. These are my list of silver bullets for the whole vaccine debate, the whole vaccine argument. Okay? I don't argue with people about it. It's just like the patient I told you about before. I'm not going to argue with her about it. She'll get it sooner or later, and if she doesn't, I can fix ignorance, but I just can't fix stupidity. You know, stupidity is a choice. Ignorance is they just don't know. But stupidity is they know, they just don't want to know. That's stupidity. One's fixable and eternal. One is temporary. You can fix one. The other one you can't. The product monographs of the actual vaccines. This is what I call the silver bullets. Where did I put it? The silver bullets end the debate right now. There's about 7 of them. I'll give you 6 right now because one's too juicy. You got to come back to the vaccine class for that one. The silver bullets are the U.S. Vaccine Injury Compensation Fund. I don't care your thoughts or your opinions or whatever. You have a chemical poison outside the body. You put it in a vaccine. You put it in a hypodermic syringe. You pump it into a person's body. It doesn't magically change it from a poisonous toxin to something good for them. Equation does not compute in my book. Does that make sense? Nor any other logical scientist's book on planet Earth to this day. You have paid advertisements. You have paid people who are publishing the research that are then in the journals that are owned by the medical schools, that are propagated by and attended by the physicians, that are paid by the pharmaceutical companies to sell the vaccines that you cannot be sued for messing people up on. Does that make sense or does that not make sense? That makes so much sense it's ridiculous. So the product monographs right here, I will read you the product monograph for the hepatitis B vaccine. Blank vaccine has not been evaluated for carcinogenic or mutagenic potential or for impairment of fertility. They're basically saying, we don't know if it gives you cancer, we don't know if it breaks your DNA, and we don't. On every vaccine, section 13.1, in the literature, the instruction manual written by the manufacturer of the vaccine, in the insert of the vaccine that says what's in it. You want to read the ingredients? Go for it. It's right there. All you got to do is go to Walgreens. Hey, pharmacist, which I have as patients, by the way. Hey, pharmacist, I'm giving my mom a flu shot. I just want to make sure that she, we're debating which one to get. She wants one, and I want her to get the other one, and blah, blah, blah. Can I get the inserts to the flu shots? Oh, yeah, here. Great, thank you. Boom, right there. Right there in the thing. Right there, telling you what's in it. You want to read the ingredients? Go for it. They're betting you won't, because a whole pallet ships. Thousands of vaccines. How many inserts are there on that whole pallet? How'd you know? One of them. Boom. We're almost done. Thank you, darling. So, exemption from lawsuits, we already mentioned that. The history of deception and fraud, like I mentioned with my patient. When I said, did they lie to you about this? Did they lie to you about that? Did they lie to you about that? Did they lie to you about Gardasil? That's like the worst vaccine there is, right? Oh, okay, Gardasil they lied about, but hepatitis B is perfectly fine. They screwed up. No, I'm here to tell you they didn't. Government mandates, if somebody comes to you and tells you this is absolutely required by federal law, you must do it, we will hold you down at gunpoint, we will take your children, and we will put toxic substances into your blood supply. What does that tell you? You must have soon. They're going to pass laws. They're already doing it in California. They're coming for you. They're coming for your kids. They will pass laws that say you do not get government assistance unless you and your kids are vaccinated. That's coming. It's part of the mark. That will come. That will come. Mark my words. It's the mark my words. It's the mark my words. See what I did? There. Then the last thing that I'll talk about now is just biblical proof that vaccines are very, very bad. I have scripture, chapter and verse on it. Now, this is in closing here. I just want to go over this right here. Based on the current rate of increase in autism, this is little tidbits to take home. This is written by Robert Thompson. He wrote a bunch of books. One's called The Calcium Lie. All you women out there who are taking your calcium thinking you're stopping bone loss, thinking you're stopping osteoporosis, you're out of your minds. There's a lie propagated by the... Who makes the calcium supplements? Who makes the calcium supplements? Who makes the calcium supplements? Correct. Correct. But where should most of your calcium come from? Your diet. Okay, great. So this was written by Robert Thompson, The Calcium Lie, What Your Doctor Still Doesn't Know. Right here. The United States, we'll get to autism here in a minute. The United States is now 46th in men's mortality. 46th? This is 2013. This is 5 years old. Oh, the problem. Here's the problem, right here. With life expectancy of around 76 years. Ladies, take note. 47th in women's mortality with life expectancy of 80 years, and the U.S. has dropped to 34th in the world in infant mortality. This is 5 years ago, folks. A drop from 23rd 10 years ago. So in 2003, they were 23rd. In 2013, they are 34th. So does that tell you we're getting better or worse? Exponentially. And we have all of the, here it is right here. In spite, and we talked about this during the women, birthing, beauty, and biopsies. In spite of all of our high-risk obstetrics and perinatal care and all the new technology specialists in perinatal care, the U.S. is the absolute worst country in the industrialized world in first-day infant mortality. First-day infant mortality, we are the worst country in the world. What does that tell you? We've got the high-priced, crazy NICU units and stuff like that, right? Nearly every disease is increasing. If our seniors make it to 85 years of age, this is written by an MD. This is not me. If our seniors make it to 85 years of age, they have a 50% chance of having dementia and not knowing it. Yeah, you got that? They've got dementia and they don't know it. Did he mean it? See what he did? Oh, yeah, right. Based on the current, right, they got dementia, they just don't know it. God, that's sick. Based on the current rate of increase in autism, get this. There will be no normal, this is based on the current rate of increase in autism. There will be no normal male babies born in the U.S. by 2030. It's 5 years old. 2030 and there will be no normal males. What does that do to your army? What does that do to your families? What does that do to your churches? What does that do to your sports teams? What does that do to the NFL? They're already not standing for the national anthem. It's the steroids, yeah. It's rotting their brains. True. True. It really is. The concussions and things that are happening with traumatic brain injury with the NFL, directly linked. Absolutely. The current rate of diabetes increase suggests that the disease will have stricken 95% of our adult population by 2030. Folks, you're in the United States. Within the next 12 years, they're saying every male baby will have autism and 95% of the population will have diabetes. How do they calculate this? Because they've got the stats and they know how fast it's rising and they know you're not doing squat about it. That's why. They know you're not doing anything because nobody knows this. Well, guess what? We've got a whole entire population of people here at this practice, hundreds of people that know this stuff. Because why? I make them come to these classes. Right? Yes. Just a couple more things. Number of children with life-threatening allergies has increased over 1,000%. Cancer keeps increasing in frequency every decade, unabated by our medical profession or its leadership, written by MD, Robert Thompson, MD. Cancer keeps increasing in frequency every decade, unabated by our medical profession or its leadership. Just look at the exquisite facilities for the treatment of cancer patients, all the new buildings, all the incredible technology for treating this disease, the expensive experimental drugs, the multi-million-dollar radiation therapy centers. We easily see cancer as big business. Cancer now affects nearly 50% of our population, as does heart and cardiovascular disease. I end the whole kid thing by this. When we're building hospitals just for kids with cancer, you know we're screwed if we don't do something. When we build hospitals just to treat kids with cancer, St. Jude's, asking for money. We know we're in a deep, deep, dark hole, and we got to crawl out of it, right? How do we do it? Your family and your family and your family. Somebody takes the bull by the horns, wrestles that thing to the ground, and kicks it in the throat. Somebody's got to do it. If you ain't going to do it, I'm going to do it. But join me and help me. How about that? So, with that being said, how do you tell others? How do you tell others about what we're doing? Oh, question?
No, it's from Facebook.
Uh-oh.
Lori Duvall, she said something I just couldn't say.
Oh, okay.
So, Lori Duvall said, I've been teaching piano one-on-one, she's a patient here, by the way, to kids for 20 years. She said, I see a huge difference in the learning abilities, attention span, and motivation over the past 10 years. I've actually asked the question, did you just have a vaccine? And she would receive the answer yes. She said, I don't have kids, but I see the undeniable difference.
Yeah. It's that simple. People can come at you with all this stuff and say, oh, you don't want to vaccinate. Oh, you're a baby killer. No, you're a baby killer. Look at the stats are in. The stats are in, folks. The stats are in. Okay? So if you still think that they're telling you the truth about this and this and this and this, and that they're not lying to you about poisoning your blood supply and taking away your fertility and causing the cancer and causing the DNA to break down, if you still think they're telling you the truth, I can't help you. I'm very upfront with people. I tell them, if you're not going to come and if you're not going to apply yourself and do the stuff, read the books we tell you, here's the handouts, here's the class, come to the class. I require new patients to come to a class. If they're not going to come to a class, I don't treat them. I just won't treat them. I can't. I'm sorry, but this is like 6 or 8 or 10 visits for free. You have to learn this stuff. You have to know this, or else I'm going to fix you. Then you're going to go out and you're going to redo the same thing and you're going to be right back. You're going to waste a bunch of money. Whose fault is it? Mine? No. Now it's your fault. Because I tried. Doctor means teacher. You must understand this. Doctor means teacher. It does not mean prescriber. It does not mean he who takes away your disease. It means he who teaches. Look at the Latin. Look at the Spanish. Docere, D-O-C-E-R-E, to teach. Doctor means teacher. That's what that means. So I am doing my part. So Lori, that's a wonderful observation. This right here, 146 reasons why sugar is destroying your health. If you go through this and you just look at how many of these, sugar can contribute to diabetes. Want to know about? Read number 49. Sugar can contribute to eczema in children. So if I don't tell you, I treat you first and then your kids, I'm doing you a disservice. This is written by a PhD who studied it for 30 years. Sugar causes all disease. Okay? Cancer, small intestine, 10 years old. As sugar increases in the diet of 10-year-olds, number 131, there is a linear decrease in the intake of many essential nutrients. What does that tell you? Nutrition. See? So this right here, if you just look at some of this stuff, you go, oh my gosh, this is kids. This is your breast cancer. This is your prostate cancer. This is your lung problems. This is, hand all these out. Take one home. Stick it on the fridge. Put it on your bulletin board at work. Talk about this. Okay? We are making a dent. Do you understand? We are crippling. We are crushing the sugar, food, processed, refined, garbage, crap industries that are killing people. Just in this practice alone. If they change their diet, if you change your diet, you come in, you change your breakfast. We just changed a third of your life. We changed your breakfast. What if you come in and you get all the crap out of your cupboards. You get all the refined, processed garbage that won't rot out of your pantry. Is that going to change your kids' behavior? We just saved you $100,000 on a school psychologist. Guess what? Expensive, what we're doing. We just saved you a funeral because we are saving lives ahead of time. Remember that catalyzing statement, that orange piece of paper, saving lives ahead of time? We got to mention people, and we are doing it. We are on board. We are changing people's lives, changing their kids, changing their parents, changing just by doing. I've got this guy who's a grandpa. He's 75 years old. We've changed his whole entire world. Guess what? The next family reunion is going to be a little bit different, isn't it? Mm-hmm. What were you going to say, Lisa?
I was going to say I've been doing hair and waxing for 25 years.
You can turn around and tell everybody.
I have seen within the last 25 years a major increase in basically younger girls needing waxing, getting waxing.
Oh, yeah.
As young as like 9 and 10 with facial hair. More than just a mustache, but the beards, and it's been, I've never done that. Did you?
Did we hand out the screening sheets?
It's the same way.
And I think it's from the meats. It's,
I need to work.
The hormones.
They're putting in the meats and the chicken.
Okay. No, that's true, and that's from the chemicals and the food, the stuff that's in the food, because it's pushing the neurotoxin, the neurotoxic stuff is going up, so it's pushing the neurons up, and then they're also eating all the hormones that the beef and the chicken and all the stuff's raised on, so it's causing the somatotropin. It's the growth hormone, so it's causing their hair to grow. That's why a lot of girls are having, what's the word I'm looking for? Are getting not fertile. What's the word I'm looking for? They're going through the period, through puberty. Thank you, menstrual cycle at 8 and 10 and 12 years old. You're seeing girls that can get pregnant at an age. I mean, I hear about it on the news and stuff like that, and I just think, gosh, that's nuts. I've never heard, but that happens, and that's why. Absolutely. Somebody else had a thing. Yes.
Getting back to the vaccines, and I think I told you about this when I took Coy in last year before the school year started for his vaccines. He was 12 years old. They wanted to give him the Gardasil vaccine.
Yeah.
And which originally was for girls, but they decided that boys carry the human papillomavirus, so boys need to get the Gardasil shot as well. And I told his doctor, no, we'll not be getting that vaccine because I've seen all the problems that he had created in
Right.
certain kids. And her response to me was, you're the mom and your job is to protect your children. Do you not want to protect your child?
Right.
And I said, I absolutely do, and that's why he's not getting this vaccine.
Yeah.
She said, well, you need to leave and take a few days and think about it and
Right.
bring it back. I said, I don't need a few days to think about it.
Uh-huh.
He's not getting this vaccine.
Right.
But to tell me I'm a bad parent and I don't
Yeah.
protect my child.
For not protecting your kid.
Yeah.
And you said, I am protecting my kid.
Yeah.
Her son, the doctors wanted to give him Gardasil vaccine, which is for human papillomavirus, HPV, strains 16 and 18, which are the only ones known to cause cervical cancer in females, out of dozens of strains of HPV viruses. There's 2 that lead to cervical cancer. Well, guys, last time I checked, did Coy have a cervix?
No, but they say boys carry.
Boys
that
carry.
virus is why they're having the
Right.
boys get the vaccine.
Right. So what you're saying, what you're basically saying is, well, we increase the market share of selling our vaccine when we go for not just 50% of the population females. We just market it for the whole entire off-label male market.
Yeah. But then they beat you up when you refuse it. You're a bad parent.
Right.
You don't care.
They did
about
me
the
the
well-being.
same
Exactly.
way with my daughter. I mean, I refused it too, and she just acted like I was a terrible parent.
Yeah.
I told her I wasn't going to come back, and I didn't.
Is that, Faye, what is, you want me to say this or you? Oh, well. Uh-oh. I don't know what this is. Well, I do. But, oh, geez.
If you didn't see this outside, it says the Cleveland Cares Award is given monthly to someone working in a healthcare-related field in Bradley County. It is awarded for a special act of exemplary caring or service. So let's go on JimRush.com, whatever,
Oh, yeah.
and
Thank
vote
you.
for this man
Thank you, darling.
for being
Ah.
an exemplary caring person.
Thank you. Of course, you had to plug this right at the in my thing, in the class. JimRushFuneralHomes.com. You know, it's funny because... Huh? Yeah. It's funny because this blew up on Facebook the other day because one of my patients who just loves us, she nominated us for this. And she said, I immediately thought, this is kind of funny. And then I just said, oh, thank you so much. This is wonderful. She's become like a mom, you know. She's a sweetheart. I love her. And I said, this is great. Thank you. Join us. Hey, Cleveland. I posted it and said, join us. And I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't going to draw attention to it. But, of course, somebody else did. Lori. It was Lori. It was Lori. Lori did it. Lori on Facebook. She said, how funny is this that a natural health doctor getting nominated for exemplary medical care by a funeral home? I said, yeah, I wasn't going to say anything, but you caught me. You pointed it out. I said, y'all, if we do get this award, I'll make sure to bring it to their attention that we're decreasing their business. I promise. Yeah. So no, it's exemplary caring or service to the healthcare in a healthcare related field. So JimRushFuneralHomes.com. I guess you just click on Brett Spradlin. I guess that's my name. But yeah, thank you, Faye. So.
Lori commented, yep, with the cry laughing.
Oh, I was rolling. I thought, oh, Lori saw it. I wasn't going to say anything, but she caught me. So I just want to do a little demonstration. And we'll pass out, we'll do the drawing while you're passing out. If we've got the screening sheets, testimonials. Here's the deal. Here's what we're going to do. Current patients or people who have been here before, who are currently on a program or have been here before, and are if you're currently being seen, fill out these sheets, and we want to know. We want a testimonial from you. If you've seen some amazing stuff and you need to share it with somebody, this is a way for us to get a little feedback on what was good about the class, what was good about the event, what was bad about the event. Was my new haircut too much for you? Should I?
People who commented about your haircut, they said it looks good.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Were my scrubs just not cool enough? Do I need bicycles and teddy bears? I mean, give us feedback. We want to know. And we also want to know if there's anything that we need to change. Any constructive criticism, we want to know. So let's pass out the testimonial sheets and the forms. I'm sorry, I just totally lost my train of thought. The current patients can fill out their testimonials or their victories or their wins or something that they've noticed. Somebody today said something about, I'm sleeping the best I have in 20 years. I said, write it down. Write that down. So if you're a current patient, write stuff down, give us a testimonial. Either way, if you're a new patient or somebody here who's never been seen, give us feedback, but also indicate on there that you want to be seen, that you want a screening. And basically, I'll show you how this works with Hannah here in a minute. I will just demonstrate to you how this works, how the nutrition works, how easy it is to make sense of what your body wants. So while you're passing those out, I'll go ahead and do some drawings here. We've got Rachel Marlowe, or Mallow. Marlowe? Rachel Marlowe. Okay, what did you win? Ooh, cool. There you go. Rachel, cool. Yeah. Sorry, I'm really good with names, but sometimes I can't read. Carmen Painter. Yeah? Wait a minute. I smell a rat. They're sitting next to each other. Somebody cheated. Huh?
I'm next.
Yeah. I was going to say. Yeah, we got the next one. If it says Chad, I'm going to be like, what's going on here? There you go. Yeah, so they were cheating off each other somehow. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Jennifer Carr. I knew. Oh, yeah. I knew you were up to no good back there. Always. Yeah, there we go. And then we got some handouts and giveaways and stuff. Oh, she deserves it. Stephanie spoke up today. Right on. So yeah, fill out some of those things. I want to show you just real quick. I'll just do a demonstration. She's so excited. I want to just do a demonstration on how this works. We use your muscles to determine what the problems are with your organs. We do this for two reasons. So that current patients can kind of get a review. Second reason is so that new patients can see how simple this is and how much sense it makes. Oh, and we need something good. Yeah. So we need something good, something bad. So what we do, I'll explain the whole thing. When your body slips into by the way, how many of you know what these things are? You've all seen these? You've all seen these? Here's stevia, regular sugar, and then toxic stuff. When your body, if your body were to slip into a toxic sludge, yeah, that'd be bad. But if your body fell into a cold lake, perfect. If your body fell into a cold lake, all of your blood, not to get hippy-dippy on you, but all of your energy, all of your blood would go to your internal organs. All the blood flow to your fingers and toes would shut off. We'd call that frostbite. We'd call it hypothermia. We'd say your body is smart enough to suck all the blood and energy into your brain, your lungs, your kidneys, your heart to keep you alive and breathing. Because your toes and your fingers, been a long day. Your fingers and your toes are not essential to survival. Everybody got that? Non-essential stuff goes away when your body is in a life or death thing. Okay? Your body will start sucking nutrients out of different parts of your body that aren't required for survival to put the nutrients somewhere else. That's why when people lose their taste buds or they lose their sense of smell, they lose their taste, your body is pulling the vitamins, the minerals out of those receptors in your nose and in your tongue and your taste buds and using them somewhere else because there's a shortage. When your vision goes bad, what do you think that is? Your body is pulling those nutrients somewhere else that's absolutely necessary for survival. You don't have to have eyes to survive. You don't have to have taste buds to survive. So when we demonstrate something, I'm going to show on Hannah. Does that make sense? That's why when people lose their taste for meat, it's a vitamin, it's a mineral deficiency. Zinc is going bye-bye. That's why when people are pregnant and they start getting these crazy food cravings, their body is putting all that stuff into building a new baby. So no woman on earth would say, hey, do you take prenatals? No woman would go, no. Yeah, we're building a new baby. But as soon as they're done with the baby, do they keep taking the prenatals? Nope. Why? They're still building the body, aren't they? It's just not a little tiny one in their belly anymore. It's the one that they've been living in their whole lives that's falling apart, usually after pregnancy. We call it postpartum depression. Right? Hold that right there. So Hannah's going to give me just a solid response. This is called manual muscle testing. There's no hippy-dippy voodoo to this. This is just, you go to an orthopedic surgeon, he's going to do your shoulder. He's going to test how strong it is before. He's going to test how strong it is after. Does that make sense? So I just find a strong muscle response. I'm not pushing up and down. I'm leaning my weight, which never changes. It's a solid mass. Okay? Good. Feel that? That's a solid response right there, right? Yes. Now, I'm going to probably find something here that makes that solid response go very, very, very unsolid. Give me this. And she has no idea what, She knows how this works, but she doesn't know which one of these I'm going to put in her hand. So hold right there. Close your eyes. Hold your hand out. Close your eyes. I like to play games. So see this. Don't open your eyes until I tell you. Okay? You know what this is? Not you. You know what this is? Her body senses. Your body is that smart. Your body senses what's in this stuff. Just like if I put bleach on your skin, would your body sense it burning? Yeah. The chemical reaction that's happening, causing your skin to have a reaction, is something you feel. You just can't feel this, but your body can. That's how smart your body is. So it's time that we start working with it instead of against it by poisoning it the way I just told you with the drugs and the chemicals and the surgeries and the vaccines that we're doing on our kids. Hold this. You know this works with kids? Works with old people. Works with people in wheelchairs. It works with cats and dogs and horses. It's crazy, isn't it? Hold. Oh, look at that. Almost. No, you almost like that one. Hold that right there. No, none. So she's been eating a pretty healthy diet for about the last, how long have you been here? 4 months? Oh, yeah. She's been eating pretty healthy for about a year. She's been here for about 4 months, which means she's been on a program for a while. Now hold that right there. Close eye. So see, something that's made of whole food, plants and animals, reacts very well with her. Something that is not whole foods, plants and animals, makes her physically weak. That weakens her body. How many of you know this is the main constituent of Diet Coke? Aspartame. Bad, yogurts, Splenda, Dannon, Yoplait. But this right here is plants and animals. Your body was created of the dust of the earth. Yes or yes? Yes. I'm glad they got that right. This right here is plants and animals, which came from where? The dust of the earth. The same dust of the earth that you came from. Plants and animals. That's all this is. Never raised above body temperature, so it's not screwed up. Made by a company right here in America. One of the biggest, the company that started vitamins. It's crazy. So when we test all of these, we've got artificial sweetener, regular processed, refined, bleached, white, cancerous sugar, and then here's a little bit of stevia. Now, I'm not a big fan of stevia, but you get the point how this works. That's a quick little demonstration to tell you, hey, we're doing screenings. If you would want to get checked out and understand how this works, fill out your little screening thing, even if you don't want to get checked out. You just came, hey, I appreciate the knowledge. It was a nice movie, kid. Appreciate it. You blow out of here, whatever. But at least tell us what we can do to change, because we're always looking to improve, because you're going to hear about us. We're going to take over this town, mark my words. We're going to shut down the Walgreens, we're going to shut down the CVS, and we're going to build churches. That's what we're going to do. And they're going to be just like this. Okay? So, fill out your stuff. I'm going to wrap it up right now. But Facebook, thank you. Everybody, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing. Send this out there. We got thousands and thousands of peoples viewing this all over the place. Kentucky people, howdy. Love you guys. And just share this. Get this info out there. Love your kids. Do it and share this stuff. Thank you guys. Bye.
Trying to keep up in all this chaos. I need you now. When my life is in a state of flux, I will lean on the constant love of Jesus. Wake up, my soul. Wake up, my soul. Jesus, I give you control. Wake up, my soul. Wake up, my soul. I lift up my hands and let go. Troubles come and go, but your peace